Hey friends, welcome and welcome back to my channel. My name is Erin and I am so excited that you decided to take time out of your day to spend with me because today we are doing something very exciting. I mentioned in my 2025 goals video that one of my goals for the year is to up my NetGalley score and to read ARCs before they are published and get my reviews out. So that is what we're going to do in this reading vlog today. I have a buttload of 2025 releases, and I am just going to read through some of them, trying to get to the ones that come out in January, February, and March, just to kind of make that happen. These are releases that I am excited about, and I'm ready to see what I think of them. And also, we're working on goals already in January, like, yes. So anyway, let's just get into this video and see what I decide to pick up. Hey y'all, so let us talk about Blood Beneath the Snow by Alexandra Kennington. I am about 47% into this book. I can't tell you the page number because when you read eARCs, they don't have page numbers, they just have the location, and I have no idea what that even means. So, yes, let's talk about Blood Beneath the Snow. We are following Revna, who is a princess, but in this world, you have the God touched, which are people who have magical gifts, and you have the God forsaken, which is people who don't. And Revna is the only one in her family who is God forsaken. She is also the only daughter. I think she has like 3 or 4 brothers. And so her father, the king, treats her, really her whole family. It's not just her father is the worst, but everybody treats her awfully. She is might as well not even be a member of the royal family. Revna spends a lot of time on the poorer side of town with the God-forsaken because she thinks of them as her people, which they are. She has basically built her own little family on that side of town, and there's a man who is teaching her how to fight, and they in hopes of one day building up enough people who can fight to start a rebellion against these God-touched people. Revna is being married off to this other to a prince from another country to make an alliance because there's this war going on. I feel like I'm doing a horrible job at explaining this, but I'm just trying really hard not to spoil anything. So Revna is going to enter, or she's going to fight in the bloodshed trials. And the bloodshed trials are, is that the name of them? Yeah. The bloodshed trials are what decide who is going to be the next ruler. And this is really messed up because essentially all the princes and princesses fight against each other to the death to decide who's going to rule next. So essentially you have to kill your siblings in order to rule. Very much messed up, very much so. Sounds kind of cool, right? But before that, the king is like, well, before I let you enter this, you need to prove that you can lead. So you're going to war with us. You're going to the front lines. And while Revenue's there, she ends up getting kidnapped by the Hellbringer, who is the general of the country that they're currently fighting. And the Hellbringer is this really scary man who wears this wolf mask and no one actually knows what his face looks like. And he can do essentially anything with his mind. Like if he thinks he wants you dead, guess what? You fall dead. And so everybody is terrified of him, but also they're trying to figure out why is he even letting this war go on when he can literally kill everyone in one thought. So that is a plot point that I think we're going to find out eventually in this. And so that is basically where I am at this 47% mark. He has taken Revna, and we have found out why he has kidnapped Revna, but I think that's kind of spoilery, so I'm not going to say why. But yes, here are my initial thoughts on what's going on. I think that we have some pacing issues, in my opinion. I think that we have taken entirely too long to get to the trials. I feel like the trials are supposed, from the synopsis and the vibe, the trials were supposed to be like the main part of the plot and what the story is essentially about. And we're 50% in at this point and haven't gone to the trials yet. And this may just be a personal thing, but I really love trials in books. And I know it's kind of overdone at this point, but I don't care. I'm going to eat up a trial every time. And so now I feel like we have spent so much time on these events that they matter, but they didn't have to be as drawn out and as detailed as they were. So when we get to the trials, if we get to the trials, it's going to be very short and very clipped, and that's going to annoy me. I'm struggling a little bit to pick this up. Honestly, I have not picked this up in 2 days. Like, I set it down and I haven't picked it up in 2 days. And that scares me because that means I'm not as like, because when I'm in something, I'm in it. Like, I will binge it if I'm like in it. And I'm not wanting to binge this. So that makes me a little worried. But I'm hoping that this second half gives me what I am looking for, and it'll all be good. So let's hope that this works out for me. Okay, y'all. So let's talk about Blood Beneath the Snow. Okay. I was right in my prediction that the trials that we, talk on and on about in the synopsis and that are kind of the whole point of the book didn't come up until 80%, 80% into this book. And then not only that, maybe 5, and I'll give it a stretch of 10 pages of these trials. And what makes it worse is that these trials bring on this new plot point that essentially changes the entire story, changes the whole thing. I think that I kind of understand waiting until this far along in the book, because this kind of did determine the ending. And if you did it too soon, the book would have just droned on and on. But I don't understand speeding through it as quickly as we did, knowing that it would be something that changed the plot. And then after the trials, I kind of feel like the story just fell off. Like, we were like up here with the events of the trials and everything that happened, and the aftermath of that just kind of like, I just, yeah. So I rated this book a 2.5 star because I think it had so much potential. I think that the synopsis made me feel like this was going to be something that everybody was going to eat up. But I think the execution was a little off, and it is a debut book. So understandably so, there are going to be, some kinks that need to be worked out. That's why I landed on a 2.5 star, because there are some major things with the book that I either didn't gel with or had issues with. So let's talk about a few of those. We've already mentioned the pacing in my previous clip. The pacing was off. Some parts were entirely too long and some parts were entirely too short. And I just feel like a lot of it was, yeah. Yeah. And then let's talk about this romance, okay? Because I want to make this point and then I'm going to explain why. This would have greatly benefited from having the Hellbringer's point of view. And that is because, is that spoilery? Is that spoilery? No, because I think in the synopsis it kind of alludes to it, but if you don't want to hear about who the romance is between, then maybe skip ahead a little bit because that's what I'm about to talk about. The romance is between Revna and the Hellbringer, but because we aren't getting the Hellbringer's POV, we are only getting Revna's thoughts, and there isn't like a narrator to kind of help, or even the Hellbringer's POV. This romance feels very one-sided, and it is so embarrassing and just so cringy because it literally feels one-sided. The Hellbringer is not even like really fully having conversations with her, so she's just like feeling all these things, and then all of a sudden we hear him have a conversation. Well, Revna hears him have a conversation with someone else, and that's how she finds out how he actually feels about her. Blood Beneath the Snow is a 2.5 star. I do think that this book will find its audience and that some people will eat this up. I just don't think that I am one of those people, which is fine. Totally fine. 2.5 stars. Moving on to the next book. I know you just saw me sitting in this spot, but that's okay. It's fine. Whatever. I have read Can't Help Faking in Love by Swati Hegde. I think that's how you pronounce it. This book is very cute. It is a contemporary romance. So we are following Harsha in this book, and she comes from this very rich Bollywood family. Like, they're millionaires. Everybody knows these people, and they're just like famous. Harsha's parents are not great parents. They're awful parents. They're awful people, and they just make her feel like she's unloved. If she's not doing exactly what they want her to do, how they want her to do it, then they're just like, don't want anything to do with her. And so Harsha ran off to California to go to college, but she came back to Bangalore, India. But her family resides in Mumbai, so she decided that going to Bangalore would be a better option for her. She's in India, but she's not so close to her family that she feels overwhelmed by them. Harsha has a boyfriend, and he fits the bill of someone that her parents expects her to be with. He's successful, he's rich, he has all the things. That's really all they care about, is if the person is successful and rich. Like, they don't even really care about what kind of person he is, which is awful. But anyway, he ends up breaking up with her, and she has been posting him on social media, and her aunt and uncle, who she has a really good relationship with, her aunt is essentially her mother figure, and she's married to the uncle, who is a really big Bollywood director or something like that. I don't know. They're having this really big anniversary party. Harsha's mother is like, yeah, you're bringing your boyfriend and you're coming, you don't ever come to family events, and blah 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 blah, like guilts her into coming to this anniversary party. But the thing is, Harsha doesn't have a boyfriend anymore, and she doesn't want to tell anybody that because she's embarrassed. She already feels like everyone looks down on her because she is trying to build her photography business and not going into like whatever the family wants her to do. So she's on her own and she's struggling. She's trying to stand firm in that decision and not ask her parents for money or anything like that. And so she's like, no, they already think I'm like broken crazy. I can't show up to this without a boyfriend. So she enlists the help of Veer. And Veer is the barista at the coffee shop that she visits every day. And they have like, a cute little budding friendship. So yeah, she offers to pay Veer to be her fake boyfriend for the anniversary party and then for a cousin's wedding after that. And Veer needs this money to help out his family. And so he's like, yeah, I'll go ahead and do it. Veer is working as a barista, but he really wants to be an actor. But since his dad walked out on his family, he feels like, he has to be the provider for the family. And so he's kind of put his dreams on hold to take care of his mother and his younger brother. So we all know how fake dating works. And Harsha and Veer end up realizing that they do have feelings for each other, but the problem is they're in this contract and there's money involved, and both of them are just trying to get through the contract before they announce feelings or anything like that, because they just feel like the money is making everything really messy. But when you have feelings, they're just going to spill out, So this was really cute, really fun. If you are looking for a closed door fade to black type of situation, this is for you. If you're not looking for any spice. Now, it does talk about spicy situations, but not in detail. Like, it just alludes to the situation that happened, but the actual spicy scene is fade to black. So I think this is good for anyone looking for that. I think that's all that I wanted to say about it synopsis wise. I don't want to give too much away because it is a romance, so whatever. But here are my thoughts on this. I don't actually have like any critiques on the writing style, plot, pacing. I don't have any issues with any of that. My problem was the actual characters and how they were acting, okay? Because Harsha's parents pissed me off. They just acted like she was just like this awful, and she was an only child, and they just like threw her away at the end. They were like, yeah, you just don't ever have to contact us again. Like, yeah, don't worry about it. What kind of parent is able to just throw their child away, not even for doing anything bad, but just trying to be their own person? Pissed me off. But then Veer's mama pissed me off too, okay? Because Veer is doing all this work and like stressing himself out trying to work to provide for them. And Veer's mother is sitting on alimony money from her kid's daddy, and is letting Veer work and stress himself out trying to help his brother and his mom. But you have alimony money sitting in a savings account. What are you saving it for? Y'all need this money now. You thought you were saving it for their weddings? Who gives a frick about a wedding when we are struggling right now in present day time? Nobody. What? Ooh. That pissed me off. Because what do you mean you have a freaking savings account of money and I've been struggling? Y'all, what are these parents out here doing? Nothing. That's what they're doing. I rated this a 4-star. And I know I just went through how I didn't have any issues with like the structure of the plot or anything like that. But I think it was just like I didn't feel like a real connection with these characters. And at sometimes this felt a little overly dramatic. And this is coming from a very dramatic person. So yeah, it was just a little... yeah, sometimes. So that is why I ended up at a 4-star, but I would definitely be recommending this. This is just a great romance. You get to learn a lot about Indian culture, and I just had a great time with it. I don't think there's much else to say about it without me just rambling on. But yeah, this was a really good time, and I'm really happy that I decided to pick this up. And I will probably be trying to go find Swati's other book. I think it might be called Match Me If You Can or something like that. But yeah, I will be going to find that because I just really enjoyed, how she writes and the stories that she tells. So just from this one book. Yeah. So I'll be picking that up, and let's see what I decide to pick up next. Hey friends, so I am currently in the bed cramping, but I was reading this book and I have things I want to say and I don't want to forget them. So let's talk about Flirting with Disaster by Naina Kumar. This is essentially a Sweet Home Alabama retelling. If you don't know, Sweet Home Alabama is a early 2000s rom-com with Reese Witherspoon, and it is essentially a second chance romance. And I know what I said, I know, but there were a couple of lingering second chance romances that I have arcs for, or that I'd already committed to read. So I'm gonna read those, for better or worse. And we will just see what happens with that. But yeah, I really loved Sweet Home Alabama growing up, so that's why I thought that this one would still work for me, even though it's second chance. And in this book, we are following Mina, who is from Houston, but she has moved to Texas. What? Can you tell I'm medicated right now? She's from Houston, but she has moved to DC to work. She was, well, how can I explain this in a simple way? It it basically follows Sweet Home Alabama. Literally, the plot points set up essentially exactly the same. But there's a little tweaking of difference. Mina married Shake. Oh God. Okay, I'm really gonna have to think. My brain is completely fried. So Mina married Nikhil while she was in Houston, while she was studying to take the bar exam. But once she passed the bar, she had a job set up in DC. And so Mina left and Nikhil stayed in Houston, but they never divorced. So here it is, 6 years later, and Mina has a new boyfriend named Shake, who is, the type of guy that she wants. It's a safe love. It's not really one of those overwhelming feelings type of situation. So she feels like this will work better for her than Nikhil did. So Shake breaks up with Naina because he feels like he's ready to take the next step in their relationship. But he can't do that if Mina is still married to Nikhil. So Mina decides to go to Houston to try to force Nikhil to sign the divorce papers. But Mina is so one-track minded, she doesn't check the weather. And when she gets to Houston, a huge hurricane is rolling in the same afternoon. So she has to basically bunker. Which one is it? Hunker or bunker? Anyway, she has to stay with Nikhil in their old house to kind of wait out the hurricane, and a series of events have happened. And they're talking about their feelings, what went wrong, what actually happened in the relationship, and we're getting some flashbacks as well of what happened. I am 66% into this book right now, and it has essentially taken place over maybe 48 hours, maybe. And so it is really a character study type of book, and if you aren't into that, then don't pick this up, because it is very slow, very meandering, very much about Nikhil and Mina and their relationship, what went wrong. And to me, it just seems like a series of miscommunications from people who were from people who hadn't really dealt with the traumas from their childhood, is what it seems like to me. I I am not actively rooting against this relationship, but I don't know that I am actively rooting for it. And what is pissing me off and why I decided I needed to pick up the camera is that calls um, Shake calls Mina, and he is very much like kind of acting pissy about the situation. And I don't think he necessarily has the right to act pissy about it because he knew that Mina was still married to Nikhil when they got together. She never lied to him about any of that. But he broke up with her because Nikhil's not signing the divorce papers. How can Mina force someone to sign divorce papers? Why are you mad at her being pissy with her because of something that Nikhil is doing? And then you try to come back and be like, well, I was rooting for us and I wanted us to be together and blah, blah, blah. No, you didn't. You don't want us to be together because if you did, you wouldn't have broken up with me. You would have helped me rectify the situation. Yeah, Shake is pissing me off. And you know what? I said when I first saw this that the name Shake was ruined for me because of Love is Blind. And I'm not liking Shake. Yeah, I am so bored. And I feel like this could have been shorter. There have been some interesting things going on as far as like surviving the storm. There has been a couple situations that come up, but I mean, it's still very much just about Nikhil and Mina's relationship and seeing where things went wrong with them. And I'm over it. I'm 66% in and I'm over it. I'm ready to wrap it up because I don't see, because either y'all gonna get it together or you're not. And we don't have to draw it out. But I do like Naina Kumar's way of telling a story. And I do think that she would be an author that I would pick up again. But this particular story, I'm just bored. I'll let you know when I finish. But yeah, it's just kind of ugh. And it's not helping that I really want to be done with this book. And so I'm trying to like speed read through it at this point because I don't think I dislike it enough to DNF, and I kind of do want to see how this is going to end. If we're going to stick true to the Sweet Home Alabama ending, or if we're going to put a little spin on it. Like I just kind of want to know, especially after I've already like invested this much time into it. But the way my brain is like not allowing me to read, like I've been struggling to get through 30 pages of a book for the past couple days, and it's just so irritating because if I'm not gonna feel good, at least like I want to be able to read. Like that's prime reading time when you don't feel good. But apparently not. I haven't even really been able to watch TV, so it's just very frustrating. And I am such an insomniac. Like sleep is very hard for me. Me and sleep do not have a good relationship, and so I'm just struggling. And I'm irritated because I want to like force myself to finish the book, and I don't have the brain power to do it. I'll be back when I finish this book. Hopefully, I'll look a little better too. So I finished Flirting with Disaster, and I can't really say that my initial thoughts changed. I think that the story was fine. It does follow Sweet Home Alabama almost to the T of the major plot points. Some of the details are a little different, but that's just because, they have different jobs, different situations, or whatever. So, yeah, I personally, I don't know that I think that they should be together or that I'm rooting for this romance. I didn't absolutely despise it because we've seen that happen a couple of times actually. Don't mind me just choking. I mean, my eyes are watering and everything. That's wild. Um, I don't know what I was saying anymore. Yeah, I didn't despise this couple, and a lot of their problems was miscommunication. I rated this a 3 star. I thought this was just fine. I liked it enough, but it just wasn't like screaming from the rooftops good for me, and that's fine. I For a second chance romance, I think that this one worked better for me than I was expecting. So I'll just say it that way. That is my air fryer screaming at me. I'll be right back. So yeah, I definitely recommend. I think if you are a second chance romance type of person, this is something that you will really enjoy. And of course, if you were a fan of Sweet Home Alabama, I think that this is a very fun take on it. It features an Indian main character. Actually, I think both of them are Indian. So that was a fun twist on it. And yeah, that's all I got to say. So last night I ended up binging The Love Lyric by Kristina Forrest. This is the third book in the Green Sisters series, and that series starts with the neighbor favor and the partner plot. So this one I was a little bit skeptical on, just a tad bit, just because I usually say I don't like kids in books, but I have given books with single parents and kids 4+ stars before. So I don't even really know if that's something that I should say, but I say it anyway. And also, I was worried about it because of the music aspect of it. As much as I love music in real life, having it in books is hit or miss for me. And so I was a little worried. A little worried. But I guess I should tell you what the love lyric is about first. So in this book, we are following Iris, who is the oldest Green sister. She married the love of her life, had a baby, and then he had a car accident and died, like really early on into the marriage. And so now she is a single parent, and she feels like she has, healed enough that she maybe wants to try dating again. She is a very organized person. She is very into her job, very, one of those type A type people, She has a few encounters with this pop star named Angel, and Angel's stylist is Iris's sister Violet. And so he, comes to some of Violet's events, and they have a few interactions, if you will. Hold on, I think I'm about to spoil something. You know me, I just get to talking and I will tell you everything, and I don't want to do that. Let me not spoil this book. Let's see what I can say. Yep, I definitely need to shut up. Okay, so let us rewind and start again. So Angel is this musician who has popped off. He is very famous, very beloved, but he is like a pop-ish R&B singer, and he wants to lean more into the soul area, but his label is not having it at all. They're like, this is what's working. You don't want Grammys and topping charts and stuff, so we want you to stay in this lane because this your lane. He's like, no, actually I want to do something different. So he's feeling a little uninspired lately, and so Iris and Angel have this big They have a few meetings before, but they have a big to do situation at Violet's wedding. And after that, it comes along that Angel will be working as a brand ambassador for Iris's company. She is a director of something at a beauty company, and he will be the brand ambassador for the skincare line. So they are going on this meet and greet tour together, and there's some feelings, and they're trying to stay professional, of course, and it's just really cute. Okay. So I feel like that was a horrible synopsis, but I mean, I think I told you more than the actual synopsis. But anyway, let's talk about how much I love this, how much I ate this up, how much I was laying there like giggling and like making faces and like Angel and Iris. Now, this is an opposites attract type situation, or is it really though? Yeah, I guess you could say that. But the way Angel was able to not push Iris, but like also apply pressure. And it was just like the simple things that they would say to each other. Like, I'm trying to think, because it was one thing that I just like was giggling at for real. What was it? Hmm. I really cannot remember, and that irritates me. But it's like not even like these lines or like these overly grand gestures. It was just like simple stuff. And I was like, yes, yes, yes. I think Angel really might have just, spoke my love language. That's why I was eating it up. It was so funny for me watching Iris try to fight her feelings for this man because she tried so hard. She really did. And I'm like, girl, just stop. This man that told you he wants you and he wants this man. Why are you playing? Just stop, girl. But I completely understood where she was coming from. And now, what I will say is that there are song lyrics like in the book. And I know some people have a thing about that. I personally didn't mind it. I thought it was really cute. You know, I was here for it. Angel was going around singing all the time and just the man just loved to sing. I didn't have a problem with it. It wasn't cringy to me at all. I just ate this up. I loved their love story and how it played out and how they were what each other needed. I love that. I love that so much. This one took me by surprise. Like I thought I was gonna like get, but y'all, I rated this higher than the neighbor favor. And that was the bookish one. I for sure thought that the neighbor favor was going to be a 5-star for me, but it ended up being a 4-star, which is a great rating. Like I ate up the neighbor favor still, but this one, y'all, I rated this a 4.5. 4.5. It really, it really did it for me. It did, and it was just so overwhelmingly like hit me here, but not in a sad way. Like I was, it. There were some emotional moments because we do have some family drama with Angel, and then we have Iris navigating grief, but it wasn't sad. So it was just, I just felt it. I just felt it, and I can't even form words. I feel like I am struggling trying to talk about how much I like this book, but I really, really really enjoyed this. And Kala, however you pronounce it, is Iris's daughter. I think she's like 6. She was fine. She didn't bother me. She wasn't really. She was a big part of the book, but she wasn't just in the way. She wasn't in the way, and so I didn't really have any problems with how she was about her character. Say it that way. I'm struggling. I haven't had coffee yet. Oh my God. That's why you're struggling. Oh, I just remembered that I didn't have coffee. I've been so worried about talking about TikTok being gone and like not realizing how much I was scrolling on TikTok and how like I just mindlessly go to TikTok like almost every time I pick up my phone. And so we've just been talking about it with my little sisters and with Lex. And I'm like, you know what? This was eye opening for me. And I need to do something productive with that time because y'all, it leading up to today or whatever, I was just spending extra time on TikTok, even more than I usually do, because I have like a time thing set on all social media. So I only can be on there. I don't even know how long I set it for, but there's a set amount of time on my phone before it locks all social media apps. But I was just scrolling through TikTok even more because I'm like, it's going to be gone. So I need to consume as many TikToks as I can before it leaves. And that just wasn't healthy. So yeah, we've been talking about that. And I didn't even realize I didn't have my coffee today. So that's why I can't form thoughts right now. That's why you're struggling. But anyway, this video is long enough. Let me go ahead and wrap this up for y'all so I can get out your way. First up, we read Blood Beneath the Snow, and that was a 2.5 star. Then I read Can't Help Faking in Love by Swati Hedge. I think that's how you pronounce it. And that was a 4 star. And then we went to Flirting with Disaster, and that was a 3 star. And we ended off on a very high note with the Love Lyric by Kristina Forrest being a 4.5 star. So here we are at the beginning of the year, and we've already read 4 2025 releases. I'm glad I'm getting these arcs out the way. I just feel like my NetGalley score is going to do things with me reading these 4. And I do plan on doing some version of this every so often because I do have still have a lot of books to get through. And, it is what it is. Let me know what 2025 release you are most looking forward to so I can add that to my TBR. Thank you so much for watching, liking, subscribing, commenting, sharing, all the things that you do to support me and my channel. I hope you have the best day that you possibly can. I'm gonna go get some coffee. Make sure you stay hydrated. And you know what? I'll just catch you in the next video. Bye.